Arcadian Vanguard presents the Wrestling News in your daily wrestling newscast for Tuesday, November 1st, 2022. Good morning, I'm Mike Sempervive. We begin today with new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions crowned last night on the Halloween edition of Monday Night Raw, live on the USA Network from the American Airlines Arena in Dallas.
Happy Halloween to the new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, Alexa Bliss and Asuka.
Bliss and Asuka defeated Damage Control's Io Sky and Dakota Kai to win the title in the main event. Bliss pinned Sky with her Twisted Bliss finisher in 16 minutes and 26 seconds to win the match and the championship for her team. This is Bliss and Asuka's first title reign together, although they have both held the women's tag team title twice before with different partners, Bliss with Nikki Cross on 2 occasions, and Asuka with both Kairi Sane and Charlotte Flair on separate occasions. Bliss and Asuka had Raw Women's Champion Bianca Belair in their corner, who earlier in the show defeated Nikki Cross in a non-title match that was Cross's first televised match in over a month. The episode was the go-home edition of Raw leading into Crown Jewel, and featured an in-ring promo segment in which WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns addressed his upcoming title defense against Logan Paul at the event on Saturday. In an answer to Paul, who appeared to lay out Jey Uso with one punch on SmackDown earlier in October, Reigns laid out The Miz, who had interrupted his promo. In another segment intended to build Crown Jewel, Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley, who are scheduled to wrestle each other in Saudi Arabia, got into a wild pull-apart brawl on the entrance ramp, with numerous WWE wrestlers and personnel attempting to get between them. During the brawl, WWE Chief Content Officer Paul Levesque came out to break up the fight, indicating that he would cancel their Crown Jewel match if they touched each other again before Saturday.
Absolute carnage! Imagine without security what's going to happen on Saturday. Triple H is out here trying to get some order. Someone stop Lesnar! Stop him! Lesnar showing no regard for anybody, looking to destroy the Almighty. Get him out of here! Get him out! Both of these behemoths being separated.
This fight is off. If they touch, this fight is off. You tell them this fight is off.
In other happenings, Johnny Gargano gave a backstage interview addressing the feud between The Miz and Dexter Lumis. U.S. Champion Seth Rollins pinned Austin Theory. Mustafa Ali pinned The Miz. Matt Riddle beat Otis in what was called a trick or street fight. And Carl Anderson of the OC pinned Damian Priest of Judgment Day. Following Priest's loss, a fight broke out between Judgment Day and the OC and AJ Styles, with Judgment Day getting the better of it. In ratings news, last Friday night's WWE SmackDown Live from the Enterprise Center in St. Louis, moved from Fox to FS1 due to Game 1 of the World Series, lost nearly 2/3 of its usual audience, according to a report from Showbuzz Daily. The episode drew an average of 835,000 viewers to FS1, down 62.57% from the previous week's 2.231 million viewers. The rating in the key 18 to 49 demographic was .23, roughly half of the rating SmackDown typically gets. That's according to WrestleNomics. The last time SmackDown aired a non-holiday edition on FS1 was October 29th, 2021, and that show drew 1.032 million. According to Post Wrestling's John Pollock, SmackDown did very well in Canada, averaging 237,000 viewers, which is the show's second largest audience of the year. That was also with heavy sports competition, including the World Series, the Canadian Football League, and a Toronto Raptors NBA game. SmackDown had originally been scheduled to be moved to FS1 again this coming Friday, but because the World Series schedule was altered due to last night's Game 3 being rained out, there will no longer be a World Series game Friday night, meaning that SmackDown will return to Fox. Even with SmackDown on FS1, it still managed to more than double the audience of AEW Rampage on TNT later in the evening, which drew its third lowest rating of the year according to Showbuzz Daily. Last Friday night's Rampage Live from the Mohegan Sun Arena in Uncasville, Connecticut drew an average of 378,000 viewers, down 21.25% from the previous week's 480,000 viewers. The rating in the key demographic was .12, the second lowest of the year, and down 7.69% from the week before. That's according to WrestleNomics. The episode came in at 27th place for the evening on cable in the key demo, down from the previous week's 24th place. Rampage viewership was down 39.32% from the same week in 2021 and down 52% in the key demographic. In NXT news, the former T-Bar, who had been a part of the Retribution faction on the main roster in 2020 and 2021, will be returning to the NXT roster under the name of Donovan Dijak. That's according to a PW Insider report, which confirms the name on the NXT internal roster. Real name Christopher Dijak, he had previously wrestled in NXT as Dominik Dijakovic, but before arriving in NXT in 2017, he had been better known as Donovan Dijak in his earlier career, including a 3-year run in Ring of Honor. There is no information on when Dijak may return to action, but it is expected to be soon. And before we leave you today, we'd like to remind you that however you consume your content, you can find the wrestling news 24 hours a day and 7 days a week across social media. On Twitter, follow us at Wrestling News AV. Our Facebook page is also Wrestling News AV. The Wrestling News can also be found on the Arcadian Vanguard YouTube page. And for those who utilize Amazon Echo devices, just tell Alexa to play the Wrestling News podcast. And remember to make sure you add podcast at the end. Once again, for daily updates, breaking news, and more, follow the Wrestling News across social media. And that's the news for today. If anything happens, we will be here to tell you about it. No clickbait, no paywall, just the Wrestling News. The Wrestling News is a division of Arcadian Vanguard, and the Wrestling Newscast is a production of the Arcadian Vanguard Podcast Network.